hacemos primero, chicos? Ya son...
Hello. Sound good, sound good. Very nice. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
2, 1. Hello! Hello, everybody. This is Lucian Zenner with the lovely Orihime. Ori, I guess we should go with the self-introductions.
Yes, 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 yes. Hello, I'm Ori. I am world's favorite cookie VTuber. Getting, being student of Lucian, best fighting games player I know by far.
Just to check, how many fighting game players do you know?
3.
3. Wow, actually, To be fair, that's actually slightly more than I expected. Hi, everybody. This is Lucian Zenner, Hungry Ghost, VTuber extraordinaire, and also fighting game player. This is our second time playing Guilty Gear together. Yeah,
Yes.
indeed. And if I recall correctly, you haven't had much time since our last round to practice. So I guess a lot of this will be listen refreshers, which, by the way, is completely fine because fighting games are less fun than Apex, especially when starting out.
Sounds good. Forgot how to.
I believe you got it out there. Are you having trouble getting in?
It's online match, right?
Yes, online match. I believe player lobby.
How do I press enter again?
Oh, good
I
question.
got it. You. I forgot my
Okay.
controls.
Oh, actually, that's a good question. Last time, I believe you had some trouble quitting out of menus, right?
Yeah, but I think it should be okay.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Just need to check. I also need to.
Oh, I
open
think
up.
maybe online match is not the right one. Is online match the right one?
Online match. Yeah, it should be. Let me see. Dracon, yeah, I realize search ID is on display, but that's alright because it's just you all, and I don't think there'll be too many trolls. But let me see. I don't want to press exit. That's bad. Actually, here, I'll disband room and try again. That way it'll be a little easier to find it.
Hey.
Alright. So from network, go to player match.
Oh, player match. Okay.
Yep. And I will open up a room. Once I do, you basically go to search for existing rooms and then input the code, and I will give the code for you ASAP.
Very good.
Yep.
Welcome.
There we go. Let me go ahead and put that into Discord. And there we go.
I should be in.
Yeah. It'll take a while for the server to sync up, but otherwise, yeah. There you are. Hello, Ori.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing
you
good.
put a mask on.
I did. I look like that one character. You know that one anime, that has like the mask and they're on the roofs and everything. They can't go on the ground, and they wear the mask, and then their mind gets taken over.
That's not actually pulling up any. Actually, hold on. I forgot to change character. But can't say I'm familiar. If you had a title in hand, I might have heard of it. But
Let me find it for you. It was a really popular manga for a while. Anime mask, rooftop mask, high rise invasion.
High Rise Invasion. Have I heard of that one before?
If I show you a photo, I think you'll know.
Maybe.
I'm gonna show you a photo. So.
Let's see. Huh. Oh, Netflix anime. That might be why I haven't seen it yet. I don't watch a lot of Netflix anime. I probably should.
Okay. Me too. I don't watch anime that often either.
Yeah, I really need to work on that. I actually have some professional obligations that require me to pay attention to Crunchyroll these days. But
What are you watching these days?
Sabikui Bisco, the one with the mushrooms, the really weird one. I really love its character design, but also it's
What's
really
the name? What's the
off-putting.
name?
Sabikui Bisco or Rust Eater Bisco.
Rust Eater Bisco.
Yep.
Oh, is very fairy tale esque, huh?
Oh yeah, really. Yeah, basically post-apocalyptic, rust and weird creatures everywhere. They ride a crab like it was a horse.
Oh wait, I love that kind of font. Let me
Yeah.
let me just pull up on my manga.
Yep.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Manga text and
Not
read
a
this. That
problem.
looks really good. Quest leader. Oh, I can't wait to read it. This looks really good.
I'm a
Okay.
little laggy on my end. I'm not sure why, but that's alright. It should be alright. So in terms of today, I guess first first what we'll do is go over basics, right? Just like as a review. The basic rock paper scissors is attack, grab, which you just did to me. Whoops, and of course blocking. Also, let's see. There's
I'm liking it a little bit too. I don't know why.
yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, it seems as if today's internet today's been a little weird, hasn't it? Because I know you were having some
Yeah.
troubles with
Yeah,
With,
I was.
Apex Legends earlier.
So down. Okay. I forgot how to do the block.
Block is simply to hold back and away from the person that you're facing, or just to hold away from them as well. Although if you simply hold away, you'll be backtracking towards the other end of the stage, which may or may not be what you want to do. But yeah, anytime you want to block the attack, just basically hold away from the attack you're receiving. So if I go like this, for instance.
Oh, I
yep.
see. I see.
Yep. This also, if we try to throw each other at the same time, the throws will clash, preventing it from executing, but it has to be at pretty much the exact same time, which makes it kind of difficult.
Yeah, there is a lot of lag. Holy shit! What
Yeah.
the?
I'm not sure what's going on. I don't. Let me see. Could it be my system? I'm going to pause here, hopefully. Oh, right, there's no pause when we're in an online match. But it should be fine. After this round, I guess I'm going to do a speed check to make sure it's not on my end.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
shoot, you just popped up into there. At least you would have. But yeah, classic dust. Because this is an anime fighter, you can jump twice in the air, defying all physics. If you want to jump high really quickly,
Ah.
yep. This is actually, let's see, my main character actually can't do this, unfortunately. But if you want to jump really high all at once, all you do is crouch and jump at the same time, and get you a maximum height right away.
Huh.
Yep. And of course, because it's an Arxis game, if you can also dash in the air by jumping and just tapping twice in any direction you want, and that gives you a lot of options to like get over fireballs, get over projectiles. Some people have guns. You don't like getting hit by guns. Guns are no fun. Yep. And let's see. Last time we also mentioned that fighting games, despite appearances, are really very much sort of a turn-based tactical game where you're figuring out when your turn is to start like comboing them, right? And then once your combo is done, it's no longer your turn. You can't simply combo them forever, and then you have to learn how to block against the opponent's decisions or strategies.
Yeah.
And a lot about fighting games is like trying to figure out when that is, right? Like when is it actually your turn? When is your opponent's turn? And how to force your opponent to give up the turn or trick them into giving up the turn. Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sick. Okay, this one
Yeah,
is
this
down.
really is laggy. Why is this so laggy today?
Yeah, why is it so laggy today? Apex is laggy.
Yeah,
This
Apex
is
laggy, Guilty Gear is laggy. I wonder if there's something with the streamers end, with the
Yeah.
streaming platforms end. If it is, that's kind of sad. Yep, that was a clash.
That was a clash.
Yep,
That's
that
pretty
was
sick.
us trying to throw each other at the same time.
Okay. I forgot how to do that.
Yep. That throw over there was me inputting a forward core circle command and then hitting heavy slash or the heavy attack. So you have your slash and heavy slash attacks, which are basically like your heavier buttons. If you do a down, forward, and then forward input, you can launch it forward as a projectile like that. That has to be pretty quick. So yeah, let's do some special input training. Oh, that was a special. And if I get hit by that, I would lose like a third of my HP. But to get that one, I believe it was 2 quarter circles for it and then the attack. So the only thing you were missing on that was the first quarter circle had to be when you end the first quarter. Yes, exactly like that. When you end the first quarter circle command, then you have to press the attack button. Yeah. And let's see. On keyboard, it's a little harder than I would like. I was practicing keyboard just to see how it would feel. But yeah, it would be basically, let me see. For you, it would be S, S, D at the same time, and then D. And once you press D, press at the same time as any other input. Yep.
I see.
Yep. And for me, it would be a S, S, A, and A for the quarter circle facing you. Because fighting games is all about like how you're facing the opponent. And because of that, it's also about like how you can cross over the opponent sometimes to mix up their defenses. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they find it a lot easier to be on one side of the game than the other. A lot of people will practice as if they were on the left side of the screen, and when they have to do all their inputs from the right side of the screen, they screw up. Which is really funny, but it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, knowing what side works better for you too.
Yeah. This is definitely more of a problem with the traditional stick-based fighters, fight controls, than it is with keyboards in my hitpad though. Because for us, like as long as you can press 3 buttons, you can do a fireball input, right? So it's less of a problem doing this from either side of the screen for us. Whereas if you're using the old like traditional arcade sticks, then yeah, it would really matter on which you're practicing, because the analog sticks feel very different depending on which side you're pushing them from, right? But yeah, we cheat. We're keyboard warriors.
We're keyboard warriors.
Yep. Let's see. So that's the basic overview. How much do you think you've retained from last time in terms of how to think about fighting games?
Good. It's good. I think it's good.
Yeah. All right. So the very first thing I want to do today, then, after going over the basics, is I will be using only the basic buttons, no fancy combos, using the same character to fight you. So I'll just be pressing buttons that I think are right in the right situations, and see how well I can do against you, and see how well you can do with the similar buttons. And I won't be using any specials because, like, it's round lethal. I don't really need specials. I have a really long sword. You can throw fireballs if you must, but also I can hit you from halfway across the screen anyhow. And
That's so crazy.
So yeah, your objective then is to do whatever you can to beat me up and take me out of the game before I take you out. And this will be a matter of like whatever, using whatever you're comfortable using, whether it's just the basic attacks, whether it's using specials.
Okay.
But yeah. Before then, though, let's do a speed test to make sure it's not on my end. This lag gets a little frustrating.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Speed test.
Let me also do it real quick.
Yeah. Okay. At least on my end, I'm getting about 9185 with like 4 millisecond latency, which is about as usual. Let's see. GOT gear server stats. At least on my end, it looks fine. At least the connection to the speed test server is fine. I'm not sure the Guilty Gear server is fine though. That might be the main issue.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But I also don't see anything mentioned on their end, so I'm not sure what's going on tonight. But you know what? Hopefully, just refreshing the game will help. Draco mentioned wanting to fight with his Jackal since he wants to learn with Jackal and see how that character plays. Draco's better than I am at the character we both play, so I'm not sure how good of a introduction to that character that might be. But I'll probably open servers after we're done. Open general play after we're done here, maybe. In terms of, let's see, where were we? Right, playing Ram Lethal Mirror to get better at Ram Lethal specifically.
As I like Ram.
Yep.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Let's see. Is this feeling any better? I guess it's okay. It's not the worst. The good thing about rollback technology with fighting games now is that even if it's lagging a little bit, at least you're not like outright missing inputs. Which is a huge frustration if I'm playing Smash Bros, which I'm always constantly losing my losing connection or losing track of like what I'm trying to do, because the oh shoot, right, I threw out my big sword, so now okay, so the problem with Ram Lethal is that if you throw out a big sword, if you forget to actually like, get it back, your stubby attacks don't have any range anymore. So like I throw that out, and suddenly I have to get all the way up to you to hit you with my heavy slash. So with Ram Lethal in particular, you also have access to what's called a Rekka, which I'm not sure what the actual Japanese word means, but it's basically an auto combo. If you do a, let's see, from your position, S, SD, and D punch, you start off with basically a Rekka chain, where it's basically a high damage auto combo that continues itself as long as you just like do the same basic moves over. Like that, with a huge cape sweep. It's basically the reverse of a fireball input in using your punch command, which I believe for you would be you. Is that your punch? Yes. Yeah. So to do the Rekka, which is basically a combo attack, it's oops. Ooh, that's a strong punch.
Strong punch.
Yep. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do now is get close enough to you. Oh, well, that's definitely it's definitely gonna be close. Hard to get close to you if you punch me like that, which you should be doing. So let's see. There we go.
Punch. Oh,
Yeah.
punch is insane.
Yeah. So that's the first move of Rekka. If I properly did that 2 more times, the same input, it'll basically act as a like an automatic combo.
Whoa.
There we go. You see how much damage I did?
That was insane.
So you can do the same by doing the quarter circle away from me and using the punch. So for you, it'll be a S, SD, then D with a punch command. Yeah.
Oh.
And then you just do that 2 more times to get the full combo. And that isn't necessary to all kitters, but it's definitely one of Ram Lethal's best damage kits, because it has you can connect with that combo for like mid range across the screen by just if you open them up with the slash, for instance, you can get like a 4 damage hit and like take out like a whole 1/8 of the health bar, and then they're almost dead. And then you have a nice and easy combo that doesn't require you to like memorize like frame data or like positioning or anything like that. You just make sure that connects.
Okay.
of course, it is important to memorize like at least the most basic possible combo, which is basically just like slash and heavy slash, like that. And like you can see that just those two buttons already deal so much damage, right? And and that's basically how you preserve your turn in a fighting game, right? As long like it's good enough that you can outguess them for the basic rock paper scissors. But if you're going to win the rock paper scissors, you want to win extra hard, and that's what combo is. Just once you actually win, you can take full advantage of it, of your win to do extra damage. And obviously, the more skilled you are with the basic combos, the fewer times you actually have to win the rock paper scissors. Like a really good player can probably just like win twice off of two really good guesses, and their combo basically wins them the round, right? Which is really OP if they can pull it off. But because it's Guilty Gear, if you do like start a combo on somebody, they do have they can just like burst out of it, like so. As soon as you get hit and you don't want them to like just like wail on you for the rest of the round, you can press burst if you're really close to them and knock them away from you. And what you did there, so the fun thing I found about around Liko actually, while I was experimenting with her, was that you can do that special off of her grab if you input the commands really quickly.
Really?
Yeah. I did it wrong, but the idea is that as soon as you start dropping out of my hands, I can throw out that the special command and just deal like a whole ton of damage, like 40 hits. Oh. Still doesn't. Unfortunately for me, however, I'm not very good at the inputs for the full special because it's a whole half circle. And I'm not very good at half circles using buttons. Oh, that's nice. That's a very nice anti-air. That's exactly what we should be doing. Of course, sometimes blocking isn't the best thing to do, right? Because especially if you're really low and you have like only a little bit of health left, you definitely don't want to be taking specials. Tapping twice to a backdash allows you to avoid some hits. And if you really want to prevent yourself from taking any damage whatsoever, just blocking and holding down 3 attack buttons. Oh, that's not it. Blocking and holding down 2 attack buttons at the same time sets up what's called the faultless defense, which prevents you from taking any damage whatsoever. But in exchange, you use up a lot of the meter that would be used for your specials or your roaming cancels, which is a unique mechanic to Guilty Gear. We'll get into in a second. Oops, that was a wall bounce.
Whoa.
So is that so far? Are you following along, or is that too much information at once?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Oh, everything is good.
Okay, because I know that's a lot, especially since we are cramming from the previous session. And I know that that can be a lot to absorb all at once, especially when like somebody's like hitting you with a giant sword at the same time.
Society. So instead of
But honestly, the best way to learn, at least if you're a player like me, isn't necessarily formal lessons, but from dying a lot in a ranked play. Like, figuring out like what works for you and what doesn't. Honestly, it's just a matter of like getting your ass beat sometimes in the Guilty Gear like fighting game against another player. Like you learn quickly like what commands, like what attacks work at short range for you, why you don't want to be throwing like giant haymakers out all the time, and why sometimes you absolutely want to. I just put myself in the corner there. That's unfortunate.
What a crowd.
Yep. And also, like, you'll find, especially among a lot of other players, why it's better to be protecting your ankles a lot, because otherwise you just like it. holding back all the time sounds like the safest move because you create distance from them and you can block whatever they're throwing at you. But there's a lot of characters that can like dash right at your ankles and trip you up really, really easily.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because if you're simply walking backwards, like you're exposing your feet, right?
Mm.
And if you're like not watching your head as well, they might jump in instead and hit you with something really hard like this. And then all you're walking backwards is negated simply because they figured out a habit of yours. So yeah, a lot of fighting games is just like it's basically mind reading to some extent, in that you're basically trying to figure out what the habits are for the opposing player, and then knowing and practicing enough with your basic tool sets to take advantage of that, to get like an anti-air in if they're trying to jump in, or to get a hit at their ankles since they're blocking too high, or if you think like they're going to use a burst. Or if you think that they're being too paranoid and defending too well, just like run them and grab them. And sometimes it's also about forcing that kind of like prediction or habits onto the other player, right? Like if you're going really, really hard on the offense with a character that can like keep up the constant pressure, you know they're going to be blocking a lot, which means you should be grabbing instead, right? Or if you're expecting them to try to grab you, to like start mashing your fastest attack button as much as possible to push them away.
Right.
And I can't teach that very well because it's so situationally dependent, right? But I can like point out like what the best practices are for like small certain situations like that, and then tell you to fight against like so-and-so character that does that a lot to get a good grasp of how to deal with it, or like at least like how to not lose your cool under the pressure they give you. Which unfortunately is still something I still have to figure out against a lot of characters. Like, Leo Whitefang in particular is a character that defeats me like pretty much like 4 out of 5 times, because the way that character play is so fast and ferocious in terms of pressure that I honestly don't have a good solution against the Leo fighters.
A Leo fighter?
Yeah.
Oh,
like they're just in your face constantly, and they also cross you all the time. So if you're holding back all the time to block, suddenly holding back is holding forward against them, and therefore they get a free hit.
You're too scary.
Yeah. But that's just something you actually like be willing to lose often enough to figure out the best habits against them, or be willing to study enough to figure out the best habits against them. If you're the sort of player that improves when you study, that's great. There's a website called, especially for Guilty Gear and a lot of the Arxis games, there is a website called Dust Loop that covers pretty much every single possible information you would want to figure out about a character, as well as their like strengths, weaknesses, and general strategies, which is useful if you've like learned terminology for fighting games, and not so much if you're new to it. But what I will say is that if you're trying to learn like the most basic bread and butter combos possible, they're not the worst worst resources to go to, even if you're new. Hit me with a double hit. That's really powerful.
Oh, I could
Hit me with a fireball because I knew that you would be I hit you with a fireball there because I figured after hitting you twice you're blocking, and now that you're like half a screen away from me, you're probably feeling safe enough to do something else, right? So what I'm trying to do there is take advantage of the fact that you're so far away and trying to do something else to land a longer range attack on you. And that's how I think about the situation. What you think about the situation is that if I still have a sword available to me, I can probably do something like that. Although, oh shoot. That's going to hit, and I'm going to take a ton of damage.
Whoa!
So suddenly the situation is unfavorable for me because I don't have as much life to give up to try to open up the defenses. So now to play a little more cautiously, use long attacks to keep you away, and hope that the pushback I get from them will give me a time to back up and block if I have to.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, block.
Oh my god, we both fought at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, you got me.
Yay!
Landed with an
That
empty
was
jump, and I
cool.
got punished.
Punished!
So, yeah.
Oh.
So, like, I'm still not very good at fighting games myself, despite teaching
Oh
it.
my.
And that's because, like, the highest level is just, like, big brain all around. Like, I watched some of the highest level fighting game matches, especially, like, with Smash. I'm thinking, it's nice that they have the mechanics all, but what really astounds me is, like, how quickly they can adapt to, like, or to new habits, or a tricky play that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like, why would they do certain situations? Why was it so easy for them to, like, predict that I was going to jump in on them and try to be aggressive? And then I realized it's because they've probably seen exactly what I've been doing, like, 10,000 times at their level. And it's me being predictable. Like, it's hard not to be impressed by how big-brained, really high-level, like, fighting game players can be. And then you talk to them and you realize they probably weren't even thinking about it. It's just half the time it's reflexes taking over by finding somebody with similar levels of experience. And therefore, like, the level of their habits outstrips yours.
Oh.
And that's only something like pure practice can get you, right? $30 hits off a single special. My turn.
Oh my god!
Yep. And if anything, I did even more damage than the one you put out because of the counter mechanic, which is that if I catch you while you're trying to attack with my own attack, you're dealt a little bit of extra damage off of that. Which it's probably the biggest difference between Guilty Gear Strive and the previous titles, in that the counter punishes are actually so big. But it's not unique to the series by any means. It's just that Strive makes it really easy for you to die off a good hit.
I see.
But on the other hand, also makes it easier to it makes the matches feel a little less involved and a little less invested in, right? So it doesn't feel as bad to just like die in 2 minutes and try again. Whereas if you spend like 5 minutes like slowly chipping away at somebody, and after everything you've done you still lose, it feels kind of rough. Oh, caught me tripping there. Oh, I jumped way too far with that one. But yeah, that's a gap closer. That is the reverse fireball with a kick instead of punch. So if this is my combo starter, this is a way for me to catch you
Holy
catch you
fuck.
feeling too safe. But to my surprise, however, that is blocked by both holding back and holding back down. It's not an overhead attack. It looks like it's supposed to chop you at overhead, right? But it actually hits you about mid-level. And Guilty Gear usually has less of a problem with that sort of reading issue than most fighting games, but it still has a couple of issues where it's basically a knowledge check. Like, yeah. Older fighting games especially have this problem where a lot of their stuff you kind of just have to know by practice or know by being punished, like where the hit actually lands, how you're supposed to block them, whether or not an overhead actually does like overhead damage, or if it's actually like hitting you low. The girl character with the guitar especially is pretty bad at that. But Guilty Gear Strive is definitely a lot more readable than a lot of the older fighting games I've tried. So props to that. I cannot imagine playing Marvel vs. Capcom, for instance, which is just like a whole screen full of projectiles that for me is impossible to read.
Yeah, it would be too hard.
Yep. Oh. I was not able to finish the combo there. Dropped a little bit. There we go.
Hard.
All right.
That was fun.
So, in terms of what you want to be able to learn to do, or what you think you need to know more, how are you thinking about this?
I just have to practice more, that's all.
Yeah.
I think I got it. I just gotta practice.
Yeah, practicing is definitely the biggest thing. Yeah, if you want like something like homework, what I would tell you is that the best way to practice is definitely to fight against human opponents. And I don't mean like going to the park. I mean like literally ranked play, and don't worry about how far you drop in terms of floors, because trust me, there are some people that are actually like literally day one in floors like 2 or 3. And I don't know how you get as low as floor 1, but I'm glad I haven't, because I kind of feel sorry for anybody that has that minimum of knowledge, because it's just not fun. It's not that fun playing against somebody that's so far advanced so much more advanced than you are, that you don't really understand why you're losing, right? So that's actually why I advocate playing the ranked ladder in Guilty Gear, because you will quickly be beating people that's roughly about your skill level, and if not a little worse, because a lot of them will be literally picking up on day 1. And because of that, you'll be able to see from their own bad habits and how you're able to beat them, like what you can improve. And for the people that are just like slightly better than you, like what you missed out on. And going over the recorded matches from that is generally the most helpful thing you can do, especially if you have somebody else in the fighting game community that can walk you through some of the decisions that you made and that they made that don't necessarily make sense at first blush. But there's also a reason why I'm saying not to go to the park instead, which is the general open play session, right? Because unfortunately, the problem with Strive is that the ranked play kind of maxes out at a relatively low level compared to every other like competitive game in general. Like, it's really hard to get into Predator for Apex. It's really hard to get like Radiant and Valorant. But for Guilty Gear, getting to Celestial is apparently pretty easy. Now, I can't really say either way because I'm not at that level. I'm only like floor 8 the last time I checked. But because it caps out at a pretty high, at a pretty relatively low level, everybody that is actually a skilled player tends to hang out at the park instead, the open play area. And that means that you'll be running to some real stray monsters out there that are just beating up on the kids.
It'll be horrible to play against.
Yep. You'll learn very, very little from playing against somebody that is actually like a tournament caliber player that's just hanging out in the park to like beat up their friends on stream, right? Yeah. So yeah, definitely play ranked, and don't get too frustrated if you fall, because the point isn't to climb up to Celestial when this is like your first fighting game, right? Like, if you can do that, hats off to you. You should be playing Evo. You'll probably win.
Go into tournaments right away.
Yeah, like I just can't imagine being that skilled off the bat. And that maybe there are like a couple like genius silence with that kind of capability, but I'm definitely not one of them. And I'm not saying that it's impossible for you to be such a person, but definitely it's a steep hill to climb if this is your very first fighting game, because there are some people with some really long history in this genre going to those tournaments and still going 0-2, because there are actual geniuses out there, especially from Japan.
They're actually insane.
Yeah. Although the VTuber community honestly has a lot of serious warriors out there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy people.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of scary. I go to like a couple of VTuber tournaments, I get completely washed. It's not even close. It's like, I know I'm not like pro level of fighting games, but holy shit, this is a deep genre if I can get like my ass blasted in like 20 seconds.
Right? It's insane. It's really insane.
Following up on that, of course, is just the basic bread and butter studying a new game, right? Knowing its basic mechanics, knowing like the general meta for a character, and Dustloop is the perfect way to do that. Reading up on the Ram Lethal section for Dustloop, especially as like the bread and butter combo section, will give you an idea of like what the character is capable of doing, and give you an idea of like what to practice, right? Although, again, I should stress, like I did last stream, that combos are not the end-all be-all of fighting games, and it's definitely possible to over-stress combos and over-practice them and lose everything else that actually makes a good fighting game player. Like, me keeping you at range with this, for instance, is a major core component of like Round Lethal's fighting style. And it's not something that you'll be able to learn, but if you're simply like practicing combos all day in the lab. Like knowing how to read human opponents and how to take advantage of their positioning and their reflexes and what habits they've shown you is a lot more important than being able to like deal 50% of their HP off a single hit, right?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's also like why fighting games are fun, because like it's honest. It's a really, really honest way to. It's a really honest sort of competitive game where you know it's not because your teammates have screwed you over. It's not because you haven't leveled enough. It's not because like RNG hasn't given you the right gear. It's very much because you pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, that's very true. Punishes you that way.
Yep. And that's why, despite myself, I found myself being an FGC streamer when I started VTubing. Because I was definitely planning to play more FPSs. But once I picked up Guilty Gear Strive, it's like, wait a minute, this makes sense to me. It's also a lot of fun. It's also a lot of fun, especially if you can find like the right people to play against.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Finding what you're liking doing on stream is the way to go.
Absolutely.
No,
even if
for
it's
sure,
kind
it
of a niche.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah.
No,
Like-
go on.
Like, I know that fighting games tend to be a niche genre, but I'm just like hoping like streams like this and talking to people who are willing to give it a shot can like demystify a lot of like what makes fighting games hard. Because they are hard, but I don't think they're hard for a reason people think they're hard. And yeah, they can definitely be unfair sometimes, especially in Guilty Gear, where every single character is OP somehow. But they're not unfair that the way that League of Legends is unfair. When you're like,
That's actually unfair.
yeah, like I don't want to lose because my top laner fed 0-10 in a round, and I can't do anything about the hyper carry that they now have on the opposing team. I want to lose because I screwed up.
Yep. Oh my god.
Yep. I'm very deliberately. Sorry, got triple my words there. I'm very deliberately not using any advanced combos with this character. Not only because I only know like one or two like actual combos, but because I want you to understand that the reason why you took so much damage is because I chose to throw this out while you're approaching me. That you can either jump in the air to avoid it, or you can just like. If you think I'm about to throw an attack, you can dash backwards to avoid it and punish me when I'm like still trying to recover from my own actions. Yep, like that. Yep. You see how on that backdash you can see sword completely whiffed? Like I think you're actually invincible for like the first 2 frames of that or something like that. But backdashing is generally like the almost always the best way to deal with like a slow, heavy hit like that. And anti-air when I try to jump in, that's also the correct move.
Oh, nice.
And then an anti-air trade. Because I figured you want to approach, so I just want something really fast and go upward, so to ask to catch you from the down below.
That was
Yeah.
a good thinking in that moment. Yeah.
Yep. And of course, obviously, when you're starting out, you just kind of want to press buttons because you haven't really memorized what everything does, and like can't really like think on command for situations like that. But the more familiar you get with the character, the more you know what you can and cannot get away with, and it becomes less about thinking about it. It's just like recognizing that this is the correct situation to do something like that. Yeah, and this is what we're doing right now, the back and forth, trying to figure out like when's the best time to attack. It's called footsies. Because fighting game terminology is weird. This is literally like when people are just like playing with their feet under a table at a restaurant. I don't know why they call it footsie of all things, but that's the most common name for this neutral game that we're playing right now. Trying to find the opening and the timing to launch attack.
Oh. I'm dead
Yep.
here. Oh.
So that time you had the right idea of using an attack that would throw me back away from you. Like forward, hard, heavy slash is generally the best way to like just reach somebody with a really heavy hit across the stage. But unfortunately for you, because it's a heavy slash, it takes a while to get out. So if I dashed in close and grabbed you instead, that was the right call for the situation. If you expect me to run up to you instead, the best thing to do is just like smash your punch attack as fast as possible. If you win that exchange, it's called a bara. If you lose it, it's called mashing, and generally mashing is looked down upon, except when, of course, if you win. And because there is a little bit of elitism in the fighting game community, when you do it right, it's in Japanese. When you do it wrong, it's in English. Another grab. That itself is called a mix-up, which is just try to literally no, not the mix-up, the cross-up, which is try to cross over you while you're inputting a command, so as to like catch your exposed back and attack from there. And the mix-up is, and when you hear fighting game players call something a mix-up, it's because they're literally trying to make it confusing about which way they're going to attack, right? Like if they're going to like go over them, or they're going to like fake a dash over and attack you in the face while trying to block the other way. Oh, but of course, if you catch me with the anti-air, it's not going to matter. There's also the high-low mix-up, where it's basically just literally like catch you pressing the wrong button. Oh, that's a fast command. And yeah, that's the basics of it. Everything else from this point on is pretty much just a matter of implementing what you understand, figuring out the things that you understand less than you might like, and practicing against human players until you get it down.
Yeah.
And to have saint-like patience when you realize you just lost 10 games in a row trying to figure something out.
Well,
That's the hardest part.
that is. I definitely can't wait to play against actual people as well. I think that's gonna be a fun learning experience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I still try to go to tournaments, even like going like 0-2 all the time. That's because you don't really get that sort of like high intensity pressure or the lessons that you can get from that without something on the line, right?
Right.
Like it's really easy to tell when somebody's just like messing around with you and beating your ass anyhow online, because they'll be doing like silly shit like jumping around a lot. They'll be like throwing around like the most risky attacks and still beating you with it anyhow, because you got the timing completely wrong, and they understand that just by looking at you. Whereas something in a tournament setting will generally be a lot less forgiving, but also a lot less optimal. And because of that, there's more to learn from them, and there's no bad habits to pick up by beating somebody that's actually taking you seriously, even with the skill gap.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's really laggy, Jesus. I'm not sure what the service is like, but yeah, it's a little unfortunate that this is the case, but yeah. Hopefully things will improve for a future session. Oh, but you are in fact beating my ass right now with those fireballs at close range. Oh, if you hit me with a heavy attack right now, I'd go through the wall. Yep, just like that.
Whoa!
So that resets everything to neutral again, which is generally to my favor. But this also means you're now able to use a lot more, that your attention meters recharge a lot faster. You're able to do things like roam and cancel. So if I can like continue my attack even after hitting you once to extend a combo, or if I use if I were to like, if you were to block a hit for me, you can then roam and cancel, yellow roam and cancel out of that, and make sure that I can combo off without having to use it first. Or, my favorite way to use roam and cancels, if you miss your attack and you think you're about to get punished, you press 3 attack buttons at the same time, you activate your roam and cancel, and then suddenly you can move again without having to worry about the end lag of a heavy move or like your special. And that's all like the very like the most advanced Guilty Gear mechanics, right? The stuff that you'll probably want to watch a couple of videos for instead of just like listening to me ramble on about them. But it's also why you want to try to punch somebody through the wall as fast as possible, because having access to that kind of resources makes you really broken. It means that all the weaknesses that your character might have, like a slow attack or attack that missed and therefore like ends your turn, is no longer applicable anymore. You have the attention meter to either like spit out like a special to finish somebody off, or to literally cheat at the game. Oh, that was a mistake on my part. So you saw the pink flash from me, right? That was the pink Roman cancel, which if I had used correctly, it means that the time it takes for my sword to recover and for me to launch do anything else is instantly canceled out. I can instantly do anything else I want from that position if I did it right. What I did instead, however, was throw out another slow attack, giving you the chance to throw out the faster one and punish me for it, which is a complete waste of resources. But that's all right. Oh shoot. Ooh, that's burst. That was the correct thing to do because I was in the doing the auto combo, right? So that would have done a lot of damage if he didn't burst out of it, forcing me to play the neutral game again and try to regain my turn against all your fireballs and swords and everything. So yeah, the correct instinct. I was not meaning to burst on that one actually. Nice kick. Oh, I got grabbed. Yep.
Oh,
there we go.
Nice.
You're getting significantly better on guessing where I'm going with that, though. So it's not
That's really hard.
Yeah, it's not as if I simply beat you down one-sidedly. It's that I'm making like one or two more guesses that are correct than you are, which could be sometimes just be down to luck. Like right now, what I'm learning is that if I do jump in on you, you're generally going to try to punish that with the attack. So if I simply block while in the air, I'll be a little safer than that. And since you use the heavy slash to punish me, that big sweeping wind up means that I generally have a moment to swing out with my own punishment and do a little chip damage on you. That was correct. Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like I said in the first stream, the actually most powerful thing in this game isn't any of the attacks, but simply blocking. Because blocking will negate like 90% of what you want to be able to do to me, and the remaining 10% is like either an attack from the right direction that can probably like switch my block up to face, or a grab, which is obviously the rock paper scissors component to it. But yeah, figuring out like the best way to block and to punish is about like I would say like 75% of the game.
It's definitely really confusing.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot there was a second hit on that. Jump in and grab you. There's also the bedrock strategy for how to approach a character, which is simply a dash and block, right? Dash up, block. Generally, if they don't expect you to, if you don't expect them to throw out a fast attack right away, this is the best and safest way to approach him because it's hard to punish. Like now, right, like 2 dash blocks and I'm like right up against you. I might have thrown like a short punch. I might have like tossed a throw and end the game right there. And the pressure is now on you to like keep dash blocking from being the decisive factor in controlling the game. Nice counter. That's very nice.
Yeah. Gosh.
Nice. Going low.
Oh, whoa! That was really fun.
Yep. Gumi Napa asks if I'm a hitbox warrior. Yep. Well, not hitbox actually. It's the same technology though. It's basically what is it? 3 directional buttons on my left hand and like a giant button on bomb for a jump. But yeah, that is it for round 2, I guess. Unless you want to continue to keep on fighting this out.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
Woo! Woo! I'm sweating.
Well, also you've been playing some really sweaty Apex too, so I'm not surprised.
No.
That's a lot of that was an intense round on the last one, especially.
Oh, right, you're at the window. Stuff.
Yep. I love
I
that feeling.
really like the trade-off in this game. I think it's
Yeah.
so fucking interesting.
It's like the honesty and the difficulty of fighting games is very much like learning like a properly learning martial arts. Like it's a
Right.
lot of drills. It's a lot of like learning the fundamental philosophy behind it, and then at the very end of it, it's a lot of running up and punching people.
So good.
Also, fighting game tournaments are like no other esports I've ever been involved with. And I'm involved with a lot of esports on a professional basis. But like when the fighting game player is doing really well, the crowd will let you know with the loudest possible terms.
What was the most intense fighting situations you had before?
The most intense fighting situation, I play a character called Nago Ryuki, which is the black samurai with dreads. That's also a vampire.
Yeah.
And Nago Ryuki has a situation where if I use his specials too often, I start losing a lot of life really quickly, like blood drain, right? Because I need to attack people to drain their blood. If I use too much of my own abilities, I start losing a lot of life. So I'm in a lot of situations, unfortunately, where I mismanage my character and I go all the way down to a single like pixel of life, the so-called like magic pixel of fighting games, where somehow, despite being like on the verge of death, you still manage to clutch it out and still win. And I have way too many of those moments on Nagoryuki, to the point where I think it's actually kind of bad for my mental health, because it's so freaking stressful. But yeah, the most exciting match I've ever had was definitely when I'm on 1 HP, the opponent's on 1 HP, and we're just trying to find a way to break each other's guard. And with my playstyle, I have a really bad habit of being increasing my aggression the closer I am to losing. So I'm just throwing things out left and right, hoping something clicks. And when that happens, I feel like a genius. I feel like a certified genius.
Honestly, that's like the best kind of moments.
Yeah. And fighting games, for whatever reason, fighting games seem to produce that a lot more often than anything except for maybe like CSGO, when somebody suddenly wins like 1v5, right? And I looked into it, at least like it's partially deliberate design in that your HP bar isn't necessarily fully reflective like of how close you are to death. So like the first 50% of your health bar visually is easier to lose than the last 50%. So it visually creates that tension and gets you all excited about it. But it doesn't change the fact that at the very last pixel, you're still on the verge of death. And I don't know why, but despite all the cheating that the designers do to make it more exciting, people still end up in that 1 HP situation more often than not. And especially in tournament situations, where literally like they're about to lose or gain like $1,000 based on a single decision. And have I maybe watched Evil Moment 37 yet?
Yes, I have. I have
Yes,
been shown
yes.
that one. It's crazy, that one.
The great thing about fighting games and like, so the history with Evil Moment 37, right, was that at that point, fighting games were very much at like their nadir in terms of popularity. They're hard to get into. The only way to get a good game is to go to like a local tournament, which tend to be in like a local arcade, which tend to be in seedy neighborhoods for like historical reasons. And that was like one of the first years that visual like recording technology and the internet was like fully available to the masses, and being able to record that legendary match flipped the script around for fighting game popularity, showing that like the why it's called Evil Moment 37 isn't because that there are like 36 previous recorded moments of equal level hype or skill, right? It's because they wanted to advertise the fact that this shit happens all the time in fighting game tournaments. You're always going to have like these like pixel perfect moments where like pure skill trumps over the fact that they were just about to lose off a single scratch.
Oh my god.
And it's true, it happens all the time. It's a bit of marketing genius, but it's not deceptive. Because that actually does happen all the time in tournaments.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely not as talked about as like mainstream games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those are super, 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 super fun.
Yeah. And like I recognize how hard they are sometimes to like get into, right? Like one of my favorite fighting games that I did play is called the Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Yeah,
Which is really fun because you control two characters at once, and you can literally have them like pin your opponent between both of your characters and just like beat them up like it was like team battle anime style. But it's also impossible to actually watch because there's so many particles on the screen at once.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I understand that.
Yeah,
Did,
and like
you play on PC for that one?
yeah. Well, a lot of the old games have recently been reintroduced to PC on Steam, and reintroduced with a much better like netcode to actually play. Because Arc System Works, the developer for Guilty Gear, paid for a bunch of Western consultants to implement new netcode for all their games, which actually made them a lot easier to play now. I kind of think that we're probably only like 1 or 2 years from like fighting games actually having a new like golden age because of it. Because now it's just like so much easier for us to play despite being like literally on like halfway across the country from each other, and like you can play with somebody all the way from California without experiencing too much frustrating lag, and that did not used to be the case. It used to be that the only way you could get a good online match going is if you like call up your neighbor to say like, hey, let's log on to a Guilty Gear Smash today and duke it out, right? Which
it sucks. That's frustrating.
It really sucks if you happen to be from a small rural town somewhere, or if you're from like Central America where the infrastructure isn't as good, or if you're like on an island somewhere, Hawaii. But now because of the netcode, because of the new technologies they've implemented for these games, it's a lot easier to actually get a good game now. Like what we're doing right here probably wouldn't have been quite as possible, or at least not as comfortable to actually do just like 3-4 years ago, which is like no time at all.
Yeah, that's barely any time. You can remember that time.
Yeah, like we were already frustrated with the tiny amount of lag that we were facing early on in the stream, and I think it felt a little better later on, but still it still felt like a little bit like molasses, right? It's always been much worse before the rollback netcodes were implemented. Like, I just don't. I fully understand why fighting games don't get that many views on Twitch and elsewhere, and hoping that now that Japanese developers are taking netcode a lot more seriously, that they're not simply relying on the fact that Japan as a country happens to have like world-class internet infrastructure, that the rest of us can actually like appreciate fighting games now, and people will understand why fighting games are so fun and like so historically important to the overall gaming scene from now on. But yeah,
it's so intense. Honestly, it's gotten so much better. I'm just so excited for the future of fighting games in general.
Yeah, honestly, Evo this year especially, I'm really excited to see how people show up. There's still nothing quite like a live fighting game tournament, especially for something at that scale, and my company may actually be planning to pay for everybody to go there this year because we're a whole
Hey,
bunch of nerds.
yo! That's gonna be fucking amazing. That's so exciting to hear, honestly.
It's in Vegas too, so there might be a little too much drinking involved, but we'll see.
Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's okay.
Unless you win, in which case you get full bragging rights.
Yeah, and in that case, record it, post it everywhere, everything like that. And that's okay.
So Drake in my chat is asking if I'm going to start opening up general lobbies. I may not actually, because I haven't eaten yet. So sorry, Drake, about that. But for now, yeah, I guess the if this is something you want to continue doing, kind of hope so. The next thing to do is, like I said, practice against humans in ranked ladder matches. Go to Dust Loop to like look up the basic data for the character.
Mm-hmm.
And when we next reconvene, I'll have even more to teach.
Let's go! I will play against other players.
Yes.
And I will learn Ram more, and then I will learn other characters after.
I also know for a fact that your Discord server with May has a lot of fighting game players in there. So
it does. I didn't realize how many there were, but there's a lot.
Yep. I've been following. I definitely expect that if you tell people that you're going to open up lobbies to the Discord, you'll get plenty of people to practice with along a wide range of skills, including some well of my own. Because I've recognized some names in there. They've been to tournaments.
They've had their fill.
Yeah, I'm sure they will also have plenty to teach as well.
Sounds very good.
Yep.
Thank you for teaching me again today, helping me get a refresher on it.
Absolutely. As always, this is a lot of fun. I especially love talking about fighting games. I don't necessarily want to be known as an evangelist for fighting games, but I will accept the role if necessary.
It sounds amazing. All right. Enjoy your food. Have a great night, and thank you so much for joining me. Having me join you, actually.
Absolutely. I guess outros now. On my end, I would like to announce to general public that I will be moving to Twitch. I already have it set up with this name, Lucian Zenner. So yeah, you can probably find me on the Twitch channels soon enough. And on your end?
I'm Ori. I stream on Twitch only for now. Actually, I've been thinking of doing YouTube as well, but I am a beginner at fighting games, hoping to be intermediate soon enough with Lucian's help. And that's it.
Yeah, that will be a lot of fun. All right. Ori, thank you again, and I will see you around.
Have a good night. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.
You too. Goodbye. All right. Sorry, folks. I do need to close up shop on my end because it has been a relatively long day for me. I actually went to watch Batman earlier before the stream, and I appreciate that it's a crime-solving Batman again. I feel like it's been a while since we had a proper crime-solving Batman. I'm glad I already liked this practice session that we had, and hopefully that will be a continuing feature even as I move platforms. Honestly, I'm kind of platform agnostic on my end because there is no reason to be loyal to corporations. But I am finding some frustration on my end with how slowly YouTube has been improving their stream platform, which is why I'm considering moving to Twitch, at least for 1 year as well, just to get a general taste of the waters. Although, follow Ori and be kind to her because she's been having some bot raid situations that's been affecting her channel as well as that of others, and especially in the VTuber community. So be aware of that. That's I'm going to guess that's one of the major reasons why she's been considering YouTube on her end, because YouTube is a little harder to raid, as we saw a year and a half ago now. Jesus, with Whole Life, if you are getting raided, they don't particularly care what platform, but YouTube has in fact implemented a lot of strong bot control options for that. Otherwise, I am done here. Next week, I will be maybe even no, not tomorrow because I have some social obligations. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. I'll see what I can do. But I want to finish up as much as of Pokemon as much as possible before I make the platform transition. Oh, no, I should go to YouTube. There we go. Yeah. 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 Actually, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Finish up as much of Pokemon as possible next week. Probably some Guilty Gear open lobbies. Drake and I'll definitely make a point to mention open lobbies when I schedule another Guilty Gear stream this week, so that you and everybody else can get some practice in and kick my ass. But otherwise, yeah, this was a fun stream as always. I'm glad you all were here to follow along, and I will see you later. Again, thank you all for following me. Follow my social media in TikTok and of course Twitch. And I will see you later. As always, my friends, eat well.
What key am I in? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for a level 5 hype train. Y'all are insane, insanely.
Smash. Smash. Ah, so cute. Ah, so cute, so cute. So cute.